stocks are way up from the lows of last March. The recession is waning, but the state of American business is at a critical point. Fortune's managing editor Andy Serwer here to break it all down with us. Andy, you've had some interesting discussions lately with business leaders, and let's just take the cable wars, for example, what we saw happen between ABC and Cablevision on Oscar night, and the fight between Fox and Time Warner Cable. You're seeing American businesses changing.
Well, American businesses are desperate for cash, Poppy, and what this does is leads to all sorts of irrational behavior that hurts their customers, not something that these businesses want to do. I mean, basically, you're sitting at home on Oscar night, you want to watch the show, and all of a sudden you can't because these two giant companies are squabbling. And, that doesn't sit well with consumers. And I think in this instance, consumers will blame the cable company because, after all, they're writing the cable company a big check every month, and all of a sudden their favorite show isn't on. But, of course, ABC, in this instance, desperate for money, and they want to get paid by Cablevision.
Is this a sense of businesses right now? And let's look across the board. We still see major job cuts, thousands and thousands of job cuts by the week. Is this a way for businesses in this country at this point to get some security, to say, pay us up front, give us some money now, because that's the only security that we can have, the only assurance?
Well, I look at this great recession that we seem to be coming out of as kind of this, watershed moment. I mean, we are recovering, but in many ways, things will never be the same again. And, let's go back to this cable TV situation that we were just talking about. The cable companies are also desperate for cash. I mean, they built up these giant systems, borrowed a lot of money to do that, thinking that we're creating a monopoly. But they're not monopolies anymore because you can get TV on the internet and through satellite dishes. So, you look at these companies, Time Warner Cable, for instance, here in New York, I just got a triple play installed for $99. They told me it was $99, and my first bill was $200. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that to customers. And I called up and complained, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who does that.
Sure.
But they're desperate for money.
And in terms of these sort of sages out there of American business, if you will, so there's some of the wisest business leaders in this country, what are they telling you? Is this the right way to do business at this point in time? Is it really the only option?
Well, I mean, you have to look at your business from a rational perspective every year in and year out. And, Warren Buffett was saying recently that, for instance, the newspaper company he owns, the Buffalo News, I mean, in a really terrible market in upstate New York, they were able to raise prices on a rational basis year after year, and now they're profitable. I mean, that's a profitable newspaper. Who would have ever imagined? The Washington Post was a little bit more reluctant to raise prices, and they're in a difficult situation right now. Warren Buffett also talking about See's Candy, and every year, See's Candies, and every year they've raised prices, and again, a really profitable business. So if you're able to do it and do it every year like that, it's also better for consumers because they understand and expect it.
Is it also about being up front with the consumer? Your triple play example is a prime one. Is it being up front with people and saying, yeah, we're going to raise prices, or yes, we need to charge you a bit more, but here's why? Do people appreciate sort of an explanation rather than them just being treated as checkbooks, if you will?
I think you're leading the witness here, Poppy.
But
absolutely.
I have an idea of what you might say.
Absolutely. And you look at credit cards and the credit card companies, they got in trouble for the same thing. All these hidden fees. I mean, the cable companies are the best at that. Now, Time Warner Cable has tried to rectify the situation to their credit. But, when you try to do that, when you try to sneak things in the fine print, I mean, it makes people irritated and upset. And it really is not the way to do business, I don't think.
Andy, thanks.
Thanks.
Good luck with your cable bill.
Thanks.